biggest value out of this is you can go all year long and never be in a group with this much talent. The talent in this room is so incredible that I don't care how many people you think you know that you'd have to go out to dinner with and lunches with to get the expertise. It's right here, and in 2 days, you're crazy if you don't talk to as many people as you can. That's the biggest value to Genius Network.
How do you quantify that $300,000 donation to Joe, right? And I can't tell you that it's been Genius that's changed my life in the last 5 years. I can tell you Genius has been a big part of it. But it comes from the surprises that occur in this room and the people that you get to know and to meet. And it really is, it is our tribe.
And so being in a group of people where the commonality is mindset and none of the other superficiality is a real rarity. And you want to allow your brain to settle into that opportunity, which goes against everything we're put together, to achieve, which is to find people exactly like us. Well, people here are exactly like you in terms of the way their brain is set up to do business and to make a contribution in the world.
I want to ask a couple of you that we have enough new people here on how to get the most out of a Genius Network meeting, and what recommendations would you have so that the people that are here can find this valuable and be integrated in and feel welcome and feel like this is an awesome group, because the group is amazing because of the people that are in the group. And so who would have some recommendations that's a seasoned pro at Genius Networking? Okay, Dr. Don, that's perfect.
It's one of the things that I've said all along. People say, well, what revenue can I get from it, or things like that. But the biggest value out of this is you can go all year long and never be in a group with this much talent. The talent in this room is so incredible that I don't care how many people you think you know that you'd have to go out to dinner with and lunches with to get the expertise. It's right here, and in 2 days, you're crazy if you don't talk to as many people as you can. That's the biggest value to Genius Network.
Yeah, thank you. And Don is the famous doctor who said, if you understood the atmospheric conditions of somebody's life, it would make sense why it is they do what it is they do. And that's something I wrote about in my book, What's in It for Them. And I talk about it all the time because that helps create a framing around, like, if you are the way you are because of the atmospheric conditions of your life, your childhood and everything that happened. And as an adult, you can alter the atmospheric conditions of your life, and you can do it for other people. And how many of you are like shitstorms? So you create atmospheric conditions for, for your family and for your team and all that. No. But you're also, so whatever the weather conditions are, we wake up every day and we write a comedy, a tragedy, a love story, a drama. Sometimes I do all those in the span of the first 10 minutes of the day. Yeah. How many of you, I was talking to Ryan, were you going to say something, or you just, can we throw him, let's throw him the, I don't even know if that's orange, or I guess it's kind of red-orange.
Reddish-orange, yeah. So I've been in Genius for 10 years. I've donated $350,000 to Joe.
Thank you.
And I come back every year because this is my friend group. These are the people that understand my crazy entrepreneurial mind and understand, why I do the things I do. I'll tell you what Genius has kind of meant to me over the years. First of all, I echo that sentiment. Talk to as many people as you can. Just get to know people. Don't worry about pushing your business or because that'll happen. Like, I work with a lot of people in here, and I've never, I don't think I've sold them, right? So, but speaking about bad times, I went through a divorce and turned to people in this group who helped me through that. I left a church that I had belonged to and had been a bishop in for 45 years, and people in this group helped me. I had cancer, and people in this group, Mike Koenigs and I went through cancer together, and he's the guy that, hey, here's my doctor, here's these things, I can help you. And so I think of all the major challenges I've had in my life over the last 10 years. My partners were stealing money from me, and we ended up breaking up the business that I had built over 20 years, and Joe offered me a job. that I wasn't even emotionally ready to accept yet, and it was a horrible time in my life. And I went through all that stuff in about a 3-year span. And Genius Network honestly saved my life. It got me through all that, and I mean, I just love the group. I love the people in here, and yeah, just I guess I've been in for 10 years, but that all happened 5 years ago, so it doesn't have to take 10 years to get to that point. So just get to know the folks, because these are going to be the people that save your life.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. And you know, the thing is, no matter how great things are going, I think in a 10-year period, the roller coaster of shit that happens that you don't even expect, that you don't even know what you don't know, and that is really it. And there are people in Genius Network that their best relationships and friendships and strong ones are here. And I know that, where's Doug Brackman? Is Doug right there? Jesus, like I'm blind as a bat. So Doug wrote the book Driven, and he's going to be giving a talk later, and he can speak to this better than almost anyone. I mean, hunters, people that are driven, are tribal creatures, and most of the people that are in this room you're driven. And Doug will explain that. I'll let him explain that later. But the fact is, this is a great place for really strong relationships with people, and you want them. You want to have a good sounding board, and you want to have people that will have your back and at least give you a perspective. So, Joe.
I've been in since 2018. So like a lot of you, I joined at the annual and thought I'd do something. When I showed up here and realized it was an entirely different world. I would tell you to be prepared to be surprised. You know, as I reflect back, I don't come to a meeting without something I want to solve. And I think once or twice I've solved the problem, but usually it's other stuff that I took that I had no idea that was going to be there, that has really changed my life in a lot of ways. And, you know, I was having an interesting conversation at Tarbell's last night. Thank you, Mark. It was delicious. Kudos. With Sebastian. And, you know, we always try to find the culprit. That's just human nature, right? We try to find the culprit, who caused it, who done it, whether it be good or bad. And, you know, he was asking me, what have I got? How do you quantify that $300,000 donation to Joe, right? And I can't tell you that it's been Genius that's changed my life in the last 5 years. I can just tell you Genius has been a big part of it. But it comes from the surprises that occur in this room and the people that you get to know and to meet. And it really is, it is our tribe.
Thank you. And by the way, you've made a incredible physical transformation. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, so he was on the Lean Life challenge called not last week, but the week before. And I was sick as a dog. I mean, I didn't say a damn word. It's the first time I've ever been on a call. I didn't say anything. I just let Whitney and Ashley run. What's that?
It must have been nice for everybody else.
Yeah, it's especially nice that you were not there. That was like, but and Joe had. Sorry, I'm going to be coughing here. Joe shared his story, and I'm like, damn. I mean, just, you know, not just the physical stuff, but just the mental stuff that you have gone through, and this the way you express that. So I appreciate that. Yeah, there's some awesomeness that happens here. Daniel online has one, and then we'll go to you, Barry.
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
My biggest tip is to ignore Joe. No, not always. Just on a specific, because I've shared this with Gina and Mike and Kevin. There's this thing that perpetuates around Genius that I disagree with, but it's going to take 2-3 years to really build the deep relationships and ultimately get the most out of it. And I call bullshit on that, because I've only been in since June, and I completely ignored intentionally what Gina sends out in every email the week before, where it says, think about the biggest thing that you want, the first domino, whatever it might be. And having read your book, Joe, I thought, well, no, if I'm really going to buy into this idea of just give to everybody and you'll get what you need automatically, I'm going to ignore her. Sorry, Gina. And I'm not going to prepare that. I'm just going to go out of my way to try and be there for everybody else and ask really good questions and just support people as best I can. And in that very first meeting in June last year, that's all I did. And I ended up with about 8 or 10 pages unbelievable notes of the things that I was going to do. And I actually looked back and thought, I don't understand what just happened there. But I think what happened is that the what's in it for them and life gives to the giver principles actually work if you go all out. So my biggest tip is do not think about what you need and go all out to support others. And I believe the odds go up that you will end up getting what you need anyway. So there you go. Punchline, ignore Joe.
Thank you, thank you. Well, the whole framing on that, Daniel, by the way, the 3 years, you know, I guess we look at it like Dan Sullivan says, the best clients are slow, committed learners with money. And which is kind of funny, right? And you can do a lot very quickly. I mean, I've had people that have joined Genius and within a year made millions of dollars. But the thing is, the funny thing about it, there's a part of me that I go back and forth because I know it works at a marketing angle, and another's like, there's the other shit here that's so much more valuable. Like what you're saying, you're going through a divorce, having strong relationships, the stuff related to your health, that's so much more important than money. But is it really more? It depends on where you're at. If you really need money, money's really damn important, right? So it's not like, it's not my job to say what should be someone's priority in their life. I just only frame this of how to, you know, curate a group of awesome entrepreneurs that could have tremendous value in all particular areas of life. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to let you know that I have a new book that's come out, and if you'd like to get it absolutely free, there's a link below in the description, or you can wait till the end of this video, or you can simply go to joesfreebook.com and you can get a copy there.
So my wife Denise and I joined about 4 years ago, and initially I was skeptical. I'm a New Yorker, so everyone's guilty till proven innocent, pretty much. And I haven't quite got past that yet in terms of my spiritual practices, but I'm still working on it.
Right.
But for me, part of it was not being in New York or a big city and wanting to connect with people and have a culture where you can have exciting new things coming into your life. And Genius, I remember initially, was like drinking out of a water hose. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of information. And for me, what's beneficial is taking time after the meetings, like to integrate and to move out of the analytical mind. And after a week, I asked myself, what really do I remember from the event, as opposed to the mind that wrote down everything?
Right.
What really inspires me a week later that I think I can utilize to magnify my mission in the world? And whatever it is that calls out, I kind of follow the advice of Dean, who said, follow one lane.
Right.
And just start on something that is new. And I think that opens up new creative energy as well, and moving into flow state. Is if you ever move into creative blocks, moving to another channel or just changing channels, you'll never be blocked because you just start something new.
Yeah.
And I found that Genius just creates a lot of new creative energy, a lot of great collaborations, and we always find ourselves like talking about a lot of great things that excite us after coming out of meetings. So time for integration, definitely.
Yeah, I like what you said about looking back at something in the mind that wrote down what it is.
Right.
You know, because how many of you for lack of a better word, how many of you get into spaces where you channel something, meaning you're able to become more effective and more powerful because of whatever force or environment or situation that you kind of either be it in a flow state or get yourself revved up, and other times you're just a puddle of dysfunctional mud, right? Yeah? You know, and it is fascinating to like really look at what is our kryptonite and what makes us powerful, and what are we tapping into? Because you know, I'm the type of guy that I will go to occasionally psychics, you know, spiritual people. I think they're all full of shit initially, and I keep an open mind because I know some of them are not, but there's a lot that are, and I will go into it saying, okay, but I force myself to have that skeptical side of my brain that questions everything is bullshit. Because if you're a marketer, you know how much bullshit there is. I mean, you meet the people that are writing the sales letters for like weight loss and stuff, and you're like, wow, they're not the person that's actually living the message. And you know, if you've been around enough, how many of you are raised Catholic? Yeah, so I was raised Catholic. I had a lot of awful stuff done in Catholic Church, and I met some amazing people in all forms of, spirituality and religion, and I've met some just scoundrels and people that are just so manipulative. So there's that part of me that's skeptical. However, I'm like, oh, there is forces. I've seen enough people in 12 steps. I mean, I spent thousands of years of my life praying to a God I never felt, and just like, what is God? What is this whole concept of God? And sitting in 12-step meetings and seeing people whose lives are utterly wrecked and were just destructive humans, and to see them transform because of a higher power, whatever that higher power is, it makes you realize, whatever you think, whatever I believe we tap into things as humans. There are ways to tap into source. Some people do it with nature, some people do it with animals, some people do it with art, through writing, whatever, through expression. I think everything we do is a form of expression. So the question is, are you expressing in a way that's making your life work, or are you expressing in a way that is not? So the point is, there's a lot of power, and I think some of the greatest power comes through alignment and connection with other people, and in order to get to that, you have to be connected with yourself as best you can. And you have to find those things that keep you disconnected from others, because almost all of my issues in my life have always come from the inability to be in relationship with other people. And whatever blocks or preconceived notions I have, and the more that I open myself up for that, the better. There's not a single meeting I have ever come and done, or any talk I've ever given, where beforehand I am not filled with some level of anxiety. But I have found that if I just do it, it helps me grow, and it's really valuable, and I feel way better, and I'm actually able to contribute as a result of it. And so I step into fear constantly, but and again, it goes back to what I heard in my 20s, which is do something every day that scares you. I've said that many times, which is not running out in front of traffic, not that type of stuff. So, Michael.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Look good up there.
Thank you. And you're a handsome fellow yourself, too. I just wanted just as a cross, yeah.
First of all, the gentlemen that have responded to this question are guys I really admire, and the enormity of what they've accomplished.
Sorry, Joel Weldon, for some reason, wants you to stand up.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
The enormity of what you guys have accomplished, just so everybody knows, is far more than they expressed. I mean, it's just staggering what each of you have done. So congratulations. Also, 13 years in the group. I just want to echo the gentleman that was sitting by his pool, who's been here a year or less. A lot of magical things happen here, and you might call that a gesture of faith to believe that can just happen, but it really does. The biggest thing you'll ever get here is something that you didn't expect, or you knew you wanted and didn't expect you could get here, or didn't even know you needed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how big it can get. But I want to say something that I haven't said before, which is that humans are social animals by nature and by biological origin, and it's very natural to congregate around labels. And that could be your racial or geographic heritage, that could be your faith, it could be your color, it could be your profession. I feel like most groups are people that gather around some of those areas of commonality. And you might almost notice your brain like protesting with you that you're not in a group where you have enough in common with enough people, your profession, your gender, your whatever. But I think the absolute beauty here is that you could be in a room, and I'm sure there's many of you who have no one in this room that does what you do, or anything close to it. Mm-hmm. Your brain searches for the commonality, and that's very natural. But there's a beauty, and it's rare to be in a room with people, and in some cases, a whole group of people, none of whom do anything like what you do. And getting comfortable with that goes against the way your brain is put together, right? But like a lot of things in life, it's the real beauty of what is available to you. So the commonality, there is a commonality here, which we call entrepreneurship, or we could call, just the way you're put together, to lead and to be a visionary and to be the cause of those kinds of results, and for the team members in your business to be working on your dream. Their purpose could be the same as yours, which hopefully it is, but they're in your business working on a dream that you're the visionary of, and where you're seeing what is not just happening next week, but also at the horizon and even beyond.
Yeah.
And so being in a group of people where the commonality is mindset and none of the other superficialities is a real rarity. And you want to allow your brain to settle into that opportunity, which goes against everything we're put together, to achieve, which is to find people exactly like us. Well, people here are exactly like you in terms of the way their brain is set up to do business and to make a contribution in the world. And people, the people that do things that have nothing to do with what you do can be the source of the most valuable thing that you ever get here, whether it's quantitative or your relationship or your marriage or calling, your parent that you haven't spoken to in 7 years. So, just appreciate you hearing that, and but I thought that might be helpful this morning.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. They're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.